Hey guys, it's Bales. I'm at DraftKings and going to review two lineups from last night's MLB action. The first was in the DraftKings Championship Qualifier that I was lucky enough to win or get second in. It was a double qualifier. 104 people in the top two won a seat to the championship in Denver in August, so that'll be fun. Get to see some friends out there. I'm sure Peter will use it as an opportunity to get me to move out there again. And it seems like, for whatever reason, all of the best DFS players live or are moving to Denver. I know of like 10 of these guys, maybe like 10 of the top 20 players in the world, for whatever reason, are from Denver. But yeah, I went with an Astros stack and used McCullers in it as well. McCullers I thought was probably the top pitcher. I had he and Severino very close. I think that at these ownership percentages, McCullers was better. Severino obviously didn't work out, so I got very lucky here to even be in this spot with 2.75 points from the pitcher. Of course, when a guy doesn't do well, you want his ownership to be higher, so it kind of works both ways there. But won this one by 0.55 points, it looks like, and yeah, I've been really lucky in these relative to how much I fire them. I've been lucky to qualify for the championships a few times, and my lineups haven't been the best in them. But I've also gotten lucky on swaps and things, and really, with how volatile these are, I think my style of play probably sets up well for these, but they're so volatile that's still mostly luck. So when breaking this down, I mean, most of it is like, just get lucky. But my thinking was, one of the reasons that I like the Astros was because something I've been looking at a little bit more. This isn't a sole reason, but in any given night, you might be looking at like 5 or 6 stacks that are on your radar, and you have to figure out which ones are the best. And so maybe sometimes small things, wind or an umpire or line movement, can affect your perception of those. They were getting only 32% of bets, but still became a worse bet. So the line move, the money line moved from -125 to -140. They're implied up 4.5 to 4.7. So this isn't huge movement, but it did suggest that perhaps some sharp people liked McCullers, or they liked the Astros in this game. So that's definitely just another piece of evidence that pointed to me wanting to be on them, even though I knew that they would be pretty highly owned. I thought that it just was no secret that they weren't going to be contrarian. But that's one reason that I used the batters that I did around that 5-man stack. So Harrison, McCutchen, Tyler Collins, all sub 10%. Tyler Collins 3.8%, obviously really valuable, scoring 25 points. And so I think that that's maybe something that I did okay here. That's important is that the ownership of individual players sometimes can be maybe a little bit overrated, and it's more like the overlap and how you pair ownership. And in general, I'd rather have, not that this was super contrarian, this is pretty much as chalky as of a lineup as I'll make, but if I had some guys in those 3 other spots outside the stack who were 15 or 20% owned, I don't think that you get the same effect. And certainly with Tyler Collins at 3.8%, that meant there were only 4 lineups in this qualifier that used him. You just get a really big boost if he does well, and that complements a chalkier stack perhaps a little bit better. Whereas if I went with a super contrarian stack, I don't know, like the Yankees are 1 or 2% who I did like, I would be fine using, say, Correa in addition to that. And I believe he was in, I got tied for first actually in the perfect game. So this was 50K to first, 25K to second, and then that gets split between us. So you can say, unlucky to to tie there, but I mean, you're lucky to be in that position. Also was only 0.15 points ahead of third. So you can see a lot of similarities. Still have Correa, still have Tyler Collins in this one, who used quite a bit. Interesting, he was higher here than in the queue, although with only 104 entries in the qualifier, it's difficult to gauge. McCullers, again, top exposures I believe were Correa, McCullers, Tyler Collins, and Jerko, who was obviously pivotal in this lineup. Neither the Cardinals, who I stacked here, nor the Astros really went off. It just was a lot of, well, I hit on the bats around it. Machado here went deep, Tyler Collins again deep, Correa with a good game, and then the other one I believe is Harrison and McCutchen, 3 home runs. So yeah, that's probably just mostly variance with pairing guys together in a way that that you get lucky. Yeah, so we can look back at, this was my model from yesterday. You can see the top pitchers, Severino, McCullers, Waka, who are the 3 pitchers that you saw here. I did have some Kershaw, less than the field. I think, that's a pretty good spot for him. I don't think the fact that that he got blown up, or getting blown up for Kershaw, really means too much. But I do think that the price is getting a little bit outrageous, where you can make a good case that McCullers at 10.7 was perhaps a better play, and I believe in most tournaments he was lower owned. But yeah, overall with pitchers, I don't really think I'm doing anything too revolutionary. Looking at the lines, looking at where money is, looking at K prediction. I think a big thing that I do that is that most maybe high dollar players or something are doing that new players aren't, is adjusting for the opposing lineup. So we always do that with the stack. Guys move around. A guy moved up from 7 to 2. Of course, he's a better play. Most people recognize that. But where guys are hitting in the order, who's out, is incredibly important for the pitcher. If you have a guy who is really bad against lefties, and he moves up to the leadoff spot and he strikes out a bunch against lefties, and you're looking at a lefty pitcher, that's a huge boost. And so adjusting for that lineup, where guys are hitting in the order, and how that lineup card comes in, especially late with those games on the West Coast. The Dodgers especially will a lot of times have an unexpected lineup. It comes in late. And so if you're looking at that, there's a potential edge where people are just avoiding it because they don't have the information until late, and they want to make their lineups earlier in the day. So I think that's potentially a big advantage there with pitchers. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you, and good luck tonight.